Hey everyone, welcome to part 27 of my no armor, no ranged weapons, fist only and no deaths playthrough of Demon Souls. And it's time to rescue Bior. Just here, right where I am to the right, there's a door and you can only open it once you've obtained the Iron Ring of Keys. They drop from a fat official in the inner ward. I already have the Iron Ring of Keys because I already killed that fat official, having run through the first part of the inner ward. So yeah, that's me using them to open this door. Down here is Bior in a jail cell. The Iron Ring of Keys will let him out, but I'm going to kill the fat official that's here first. And the reason I do that is he's carrying a set of keys as well. He's carrying the Bloody Iron Key, and the Bloody Iron Key opens up the gate that's going to lead to Uria the Witch, who I intended to rescue next.
I'm cold-blooded.
I skipped through his dialogue there, but basically he just tells you he's called Bior of the Twin Fangs, says he'd give you a reward if he had one, but he doesn't, and says he's going to sleep and he'll catch you later, basically. So that's it, Bior is rescued, and what that means is when I finally get to the Penetrator boss, Bior will be an NPC that steps in to help kill the Penetrator, and it was my thought that his assistance should make that fight go a lot easier. I thought if I didn't rescue Bior, and I was always going to because a part of the challenge of this playthrough is I wanted to complete as much of the game as possible, so that also includes rescuing Bior, but I absolutely made it a priority anyway because I thought fighting the Penetrator with fists only was going to be a very long and arduous fight because it's very hard to get close to the Penetrator and stay close, and with fists only it would have put me in a lot of danger constantly, but would have also just been like chipping away at a granite block. I'm pretty sure that fight would go longer than 20 minutes without Bior's assistance, so my idea was if I could get Bior to help me, then that fight would just go so much faster. Now that I've killed the fat official that was guarding Bior and have the Bloody Iron Key, that key will open the gate in the inner ward that leads to Uria the Witch, who is another NPC that's imprisoned by a fat official. In the last part of this playthrough, I obtained all of the fat official's clothing set, and I have that clothing set in my inventory because I'll need to put all of the clothing set on when I get to where Uria is imprisoned. It's the only way to get access to her is to be wearing that set. But here, this is the gate that the Bloody Iron Key opens. Without that key, you can't get through here. Okay, Uria is imprisoned above me, and there's a stairwell to get up there that can be raised and lowered. You can see it there above me. Making sure I'm not standing under it, this is where I had to go into my inventory and equip all of the official's clothes. Once equipped, the fat official up top gets confused, thinks I'm a fat official for some reason, even though I'm not that fat, and lowers the stairs. And obviously I could take the clothes off straight away. You don't need to keep them on or anything. You just need to put them on to get those stairs lowered. And finally a fat official who's easy to get behind.
Heavens, you... Thank you. With a little rest, I can soon...
Once you go back to the Nexus after rescuing Yuria, you can access her and learn advanced spells from her. But obviously I'm not using any magic in this playthrough, so that's really it for Yuria the Witch and me in this playthrough. I don't need her, I just wanted to rescue her. With Bior and Yuria rescued, it was now time to head off and do the Tunnel City and make my way to Flame Lurker. Now the shortcut to Flame Lurker is to go right here and then to jump down a series of platforms, but because I'm trying to complete as much of the game as possible during this challenge, I'm going to do the entire area. So that involves going left to begin with. These rockworms are easily defeated if you can hit their heads as they're coming out. I wasn't able to do it there, and I actually wasn't even sure if I'd be able to do it with fists, given that the range of fists is so short. So yeah, that meant chipping away at their body, which with fists and a lack of damage is really quite slow. Just letting crystal lizards run away really hurts. But it's just impossible to kill them with fists. Well, not impossible, but 99.9% of the time, unless you're on a slopey environment, you're not killing that crystal lizard with fists. I didn't need to kill this rockworm, but I knew my claws couldn't be upgraded without a certain type of shard being obtained, and I wasn't sure if these guys could drop the shards, but I thought I better kill it just in case it can drop the shards that I need. While I'm playing here, I couldn't really remember exactly what materials I did need. In hindsight though, I know I needed 3 large sharpstone shards. These guys do not drop them. In fact, ironically, the greatest chance of getting them comes from killing crystal lizards. Something I had absolutely zero chance of killing. So I didn't know while I was playing, but yeah, my chances of getting large sharpstone shards to upgrade my claws were basically zero. Not entirely zero though, because they do drop from scale miners as well, but yeah, I wasn't going to farm any scale miners, and certainly wasn't going to kill enough scale miners to potentially get multiples of large sharpstone shards. So my claws were at +7, and pretty much that's where they were going to stay. I didn't know that right now, but spoiler alert, yeah, that's where they stay. I never do any more damage for the rest of this playthrough than I'm doing now. Alright, and here we come to bear bugs, large bear bugs. These guys do not care about my fists. In fact, I think they don't care about any kind of weapons, really. They just absorb all the damage, and yeah, they don't want to die. To kill them, you have to put in a lot of effort. Kind of a waste of time, because there's nothing that this bear bug can give me that I want. They have a decent drop rate of shards of dragonstone and chunks of dragonstone, which is a very rare item in Demon Souls, but for my run, they don't drop large sharpstone shards, and yeah, they just get in the way. I mean, I'm standing right next to it basically and just clearing out my inventory, so yeah, they're really nothing more than a roadblock. But hey, a part of the challenge of this run was to complete as much of the game as possible, so that included killing bear bugs. There's no real weapon that these guys are weak to. They're certainly not weak to claws, that's for sure. However, you can insta-kill them with the Soul Sucker magic spell, which is a spell that Yuria the Witch, who I just rescued, can teach you. However, she'll only teach you that spell in exchange for a Maiden in Black Demon Soul, and you can only get that Demon Soul by completing the game and having the Maiden in Black put the final boss to sleep at the end of the game. So basically, the only way you can one-shot these big bear bugs is in NG+, once you have the Soul Sucker spell. This one's pretty easy to kill, even if it's taking forever, because you can't turn around, so landing behind him and attacking him from behind makes it very simple. But if you're in front of one of these guys, they can jump on you and they can charge you and hit you with a needle-like attack from their head. But even then, they're very easy to kill from the front as well. You just kind of move to the side and they can't really hurt you. Once you've taken all the health though, you've got to get away because they explode. And I had to remember that because I wasn't sure if their explosion could like one-hit kill me. I also wasn't sure if it could one-hit kill Patches the hyena, who's the NPC down there. It did hit him, he was on fire, but it didn't kill him, so I was happy about that. I didn't want to kill him. I didn't want to kill any NPCs in this run. I almost hit it in the head, that rockworm, when it came out of the ground, but yeah, I missed, so it would have been a one-hit kill, but I think hitting him in the head with fists is pretty difficult. But for some reason, that was a weaker rockworm than the rest, so hitting it in the body killed it really quickly.
You're no joke, are you?
When Patches said that, I felt like the game was recognizing that I was doing a hard challenge playthrough and that I was doing pretty well with it, because Patches himself gives a ton of different dialogue depending on when you encounter him. I'd never heard him say that before, and yeah, it kind of felt like that he was commenting on my playthrough. I have to admit, I did wonder if the game had recognized that I'd gotten here without a single death, but I don't think so. I think he has different dialogue depending on when you encounter him, and because I've encountered him a few times prior to this, he just kind of probably is coded to recognize that, you know, I'm still going. You're still going in the game, so you're doing all right. Still, it was kind of a cool thought to think that maybe the game knew I hadn't died yet, and it was giving me a comment to reflect that. And anyway, here we are with bear bug number 2, the most riveting enemy in Demon Souls to kill. I'm not stuck behind this one though, so it can turn around and it can needle me. It can also jump on me. But pretty much with these guys, there it goes with its jumping attack. Pretty much with these guys, so long as you just stand to their side, you're generally okay. I killed the first bear bug for completionist reasons, so I could have really ignored all the other bear bugs in the game, but I still didn't know what I needed, what was required to upgrade my claws. I know in hindsight it was large sharpstone shards, but whilst I was playing in this footage, I had no idea, I couldn't remember. So I pretty much wanted to kill every enemy I could in the hope that they would drop the resources I needed to get a little bit more damage on my claws. In hindsight, I know that was a waste of time. Crystal lizards were pretty much the only way to get them, apart from maybe as a rare drop from a scale miner, but yeah, I didn't know that, so all the way through this I'm killing enemies in the hope that I get what I need to upgrade my claws.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? Don't you try that.
Okay, so this is the Filthy Man Merchant, and when I looked into his inventory, I saw he had a bunch of different types of shards. Now at this point in my gameplay, I couldn't remember exactly what type of shards I needed to upgrade my claws, but I thought it was a large sharpstone shard or maybe a large hardstone shard. It was certainly one of those two, so to hedge my bets, I decided to buy 3 of each because I knew I needed 3, and that would guarantee me a +8 upgrade to my claws.
Aye, thanks.
At least that's what I thought. What I didn't know at the time was I also needed sharpstone shards. And he does sell them, the Filthy Man sells them, but I didn't know that, so I didn't buy them, which meant I had just bought some of what I needed, but in order to upgrade my claws, I actually needed more. So spoiler alert, I don't get to upgrade my claws despite buying those shards. Yeah, these 3 rockworms were a pain in the ass. I tried to run past them to start with, but the first one that came up blocked me. These particular 3 rockworms spit out lava constantly, and even if you just go near them, they just go into this lava spitting loop. The closer you get to all 3, they all start doing it. I was pretty sure if I got close to them, the 3 rockworms lavas would probably insta-kill me, or in any case would be a very high risk of death. And on a no-death run, yeah, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, I had to back off from those 3 guys. But it didn't matter because the path they were guarding can be got to another way. So I decided I would ignore that path for now and come back to it later. that rockworm's lava only took like not even an inch of my health. So I figured I'd probably lose about 3 inches of health from those 3 rockworms that I left behind if they hit me with their lava, which, given it staggers me, they'd probably hit me twice, so I'd probably lose about 6 inches of health. So I figured even if I went back to those 3 rockworms that I left behind, they probably wouldn't insta-kill me after all. But I'd already decided I could get to the path behind them without worrying about them, and since it takes so long to kill one, it was probably going to take forever to kill those 3, so yeah, I decided not to go back and just to keep moving forward. And here we go with yet another riveting bear bug. This one I wedged myself into the corner, so I was stuck at its side and able to just slowly carve away at it. If it turned into me, it was going to be a bit of a drama, but yeah, I thought this was a pretty good position for now. I could have backed off and lured it out of this hole further up the tunnel and then done a loop around the tunnel to get around behind it and move on without killing it. But again, I wasn't 100% sure if I had everything I needed to upgrade my claws. At the very least, I thought, I mean, the enemies in this area might drop materials I need to upgrade my claws, so it was worth killing them all anyway. Even though this was super boring and super laborious, I did it anyway. It's actually kind of a shame that it takes so much effort to kill these guys, but they don't really drop you anything good. I mean, yes, they drop shards of dragonstone and chunks of dragonstone, but you also only get 260 souls from them. So yeah, they're not really worth anything unless you've got a weapon that you're trying to upgrade with dragonstone. I think in future runs, I will probably just lure these guys away from where I'm going and I just won't touch them. In this one, I was really trying to do everything and I was really trying to kill everything. And because I wasn't doing any farming, I was trying to maximize my chances at getting materials to upgrade my claws, and without knowing exactly what materials I needed, because I kept forgetting, and without knowing what enemies dropped those materials because I wasn't looking up guides when I was doing it. Well, yeah, it just meant I had to kill everything and go everywhere, but in future runs, I think I'll just bypass these guys for the sake of my sanity. And there's another one. I think the first few, you know, they're probably acceptable, but by this point, it's definitely a cruel joke. One of the reasons bear bugs are so tough to kill is they basically have a lot of hit points in every area that you can imagine, from health to armor to blunt damage to fire and so on, but I do think they're a little weaker to magic. So if you're a magic user, you can beat them faster. If you're using a weapon that also has magic damage, you can beat them faster. I know for sure in my first playthrough, I cut these guys down a lot faster than I'm doing here. Yes, the claws are fairly weak because they're not fully upgraded and they're actually just fairly weak anyway. But I was using the Crescent Falchion in my first playthrough and it was reasonably upgraded by this point, and I remember cutting these guys down pretty quickly with it. So yeah, I speculate these guys are weaker to magic than anything else, but only to a small degree. I mean, when I say pretty quickly, I mean quicker than this. They're also not immune to anything, so if you wanted to, you could put poison and plague on them if you have those spells, and that would whittle their health down a little bit. It'd be pretty slow, but, you know, every little bit would count. Anything to make this go faster. Finally. In my first playthrough, I got really confused in these tunnels, but I recognized this spot specifically as being the direction to Flame Lurker, so I put down an Ore Guide of Guidance just in case I got lost again, and that Ore Guide of Guidance would remind me that if I went up that tunnel, I would be able to get to the boss. I should have tried to actually kill those crystal lizards there. They were on a bit of a slopey part of the wall, and it might have been possible to kill them, and if I'd killed them, I might have got the upgrade materials I needed for my claws. I didn't know that at the time, but in hindsight watching that, I maybe should have tried. Instead, I was so used to not killing crystal lizards that I thought my greatest chance at getting upgrade materials for the claws were to kill this bear bug. So here we go again, with another bear bug. Also useless too, because there's nothing it could possibly give me that was of any value. So my recommendation is, before attempting a ridiculously hard challenge run like this, do a little bit of research first. It'll help. The good news is I'm pretty sure that's the last bear bug I fight. If you can call it a fight. But I'm pretty sure that's the last one. There should be no more bear bugs in the rest of this run. I think, from memory, that I fight. I pretty much ignored all of the bear bugs out here. And there are some items to get out there, but without any armor on and without any water spells, I figured it was just too risky to go out there. If I got insta-killed by that lava attempting to get useless items, I would have been pretty upset at this point, so I decided I wasn't even going to try. These tunnels are very confusing. It's like, if you asked me which are the two most confusing areas of Demon Souls, I would say these tunnels and Prison of Hope. But I'm doing all right here, especially compared to my first playthrough where I was hopelessly lost down here. But here I'm just really looking around to see if there's any items I've missed in any direction before doubling back to the Augur of Guidance that I dropped and heading off to the Flame Lurker boss. That bear bug was a big old nope from me, so it was time to head towards Flame Lurker. Just clearing out a bit of inventory and also putting on the flame resistance ring. The thief ring wasn't really going to do any favors for me in the next boss fight, but the flame resistance ring certainly was, since Flame Lurker, well, it's in his name, Flame. So yeah, flame resistance ring on, thief ring off. Alright, this is the area where you drop down and head to Flame Lurker. There's a bunch of rock worms at the bottom and a couple of items to get as well. But given this video is already over 30 minutes, which is way too long, I'll cut this part right now and continue the rest of this run, including the Flame Lurker boss fight, in the next video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.